Hi, everybody. Every year at Beth Am, we have a special blessing for new babies, but since we can't be together in person this year, we thought we would bring the babies to you. So a very sweet and healthy new year from our family to yours, and this is Baby Winnie.
Have a sweet new year from Angela, Paul, and baby Leia.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova from Oli Kreitzer.
Hi everybody, meet Ziva.
Wishing you a Shana Tova from the Highmarks.
Hi Beth Am, this is Shoshana, and she just wanted to wish everyone a Shana Tova and a happy, healthy, and sweet new year.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova from Dyla Dan and Leia Ray.
May you be inscribed
and sealed for a good year from Aaron and Jacob.
That means Shana Tova from Noah Lev.
Shana Tova from the Moranti family. Eve and I want to wish you a happy new year.
We're Melanie and Justin, and this is Isaac, who was born during the High Holy Days last year.
And what Isaac was just saying is loosely translated, Shana Tova, everyone.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova from Eli,
Sean,
and Lauren.
Good evening. My name is Andy Chang. I'm the president of Congregation Beth Am, and I have the immense honor of representing the board of directors and welcoming all of you. As we enter the Jewish New Year, it's typically a time for us to come together as a Kahila Kedoshah, a holy community. While I can't possibly feel the same without all of us sitting together in one room, the Beth Am team has dreamt up a creative, thoughtful, meaningful virtual experience that's second to none. I'd like to express my gratitude to our clergy, education, operations, and facility teams, our musicians, our volunteers for working tirelessly to deliver something that's completely unfamiliar to us and never done before in our Jewish history. I'd also like to thank all of you for your patience, flexibility, resilience, and generosity during this period of time. And we particularly appreciate your kindness in understanding when we've encountered any unexpected technical difficulties. Congregations are defined by the connections we share among each other. Over the past 6 months, the pandemic has tested our ability to stay connected with our Jewish practice and with one another. None of us were prepared for this. It's not to say we haven't been through dark and challenging times. Come on, we're the Jewish people, right? The modern Hebrew word for crisis, mashpir, comes from the root shaver, which means to break. In the Bible, however, the word mashpir doesn't refer to a crisis. Instead, the word refers to a birth stool, a seat used by women for birthing. Short of trying to expound on the birthing process as a father, not a mother, we can probably all agree that even with all the joy that comes with childbirth, it is painful. Perhaps the biblical term mashpir became the modern Hebrew term for crisis because birthing, like crisis, is painful. But a crisis can also potentially give way to something remarkable, something new, something holy, like a child, a new era. My intention is certainly not to minimize how deadly this virus has been and the extraordinary pain, uncertainty, and anxiety this has caused. My intention is to acknowledge and celebrate what the entire Beth Am team has done. Rather than yielding to this, they have met this challenge. Our congregation has chosen to adapt, pivot, and transform in a major way. Despite Rabbi Morrison only having been in this role for less than 90 days, not to mention being limited to Zoom, he has already put into motion many things that will form the foundation of a next generation synagogue. We've only just begun. We're learning a great deal from this crisis. There's so much more that we're planning to pursue. The staff is energized by what's to come. As challenging of a situation we've been in, the Jewish people, and particularly the Reform movement, were made for this moment in time. As a movement, we ordained the first female rabbi, admitted gay and lesbian rabbinical students, reintroduced the use of musical instruments, and welcomed interfaith couples. We do not maintain the status quo. We do not allow fear to consume us. We are trailblazers. As a result, Beth Am comes from a long history of creative leadership, tradition, and innovation. And I couldn't be more excited about what's in store for us. As we review our actions during the past year, I hope you'll join us as we look to not only improving ourselves, but also our surrounding communities, as well as the world around us in this year to come. We are moving from strength to strength. Shana Tova Umetuka, may you have a good and sweet new year.
Let's continue with Hine Matov. Hine Matov Manayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Manayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Manayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Manayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad.
Shana Tova and Shabbat Shalom, and how good it is to have arrived at this moment, at this hour, as we begin together a new year. Hello, I'm Rabbi Jeremy Morrison, and if this is your first time celebrating with Beth Am, celebrating the High Holy Days with Congregation Beth Am, It is my first time as well. And I'm thrilled to be here on our campus with my colleagues Cantor Jamie Spall, Rabbi Jonathan Prosnit, Rabbi Heath Wattenmaker, and Rabbi Sarah Weissman. All of us feel keenly your absence. In fact, when we first began planning for these high holy days, we intended to come together here in our shared Beth Am home. No more Flint Center, no more Redemption Church. But next year, I pray, we will have the proper homecoming that we had envisioned. But for now, although not together in person, we are connected, bound together by traditions, by language, by rituals, by our imaginations, by memory. And we are connected by technology. We have worked assiduously to create a High Holy Day experience contiguous with previous years, but also a liturgy that is dynamically responsive to this moment. Most of what we will lead from our synagogue on Rosh Hashanah and on Yom Kippur will be live. But in order to build upon Beth Am's strong tradition of congregational participation and leadership, as well as to ensure a smooth experience, we have incorporated some pre-recorded elements into our services. Our Machzor teaches that over the next 10 days, we will walk together along a sometimes difficult but ultimately rewarding path of soul-searching, of reflection on our deeds, and the ways in which we missed the mark during this past year. A path of introspection about our personal qualities and how they impact our closest relationships. A path that will lead us to examine our beliefs about what it means to be human and mortal and Jewish, all in relation to the world and to God. As we walk, we will seek forgiveness and bestow it. Mishkan HaNefesh, our Machzor, composed and edited in great part by Rabbis Janet and Shelley Martyr, is our guidebook for this trek. If you don't have one in your hands, you can utilize the flip book. There's a link to it on our website. In its introduction, Mishkan HaNefesh states that the inner path that we travel on these days is not smooth. It is paved with remorse, grief, and even guilt, but also with holiness, awe, gratitude, and hope. So this is my hope for us all as we now embark on our shared journey. May this new year, 5781, be a year of sweetness, of learning, of new beginnings, of a vaccine, of renewal, of blessings, of justice. May this be a joyful year.
It's a delight to welcome the family members of our new senior rabbi, Molly Zeke and Poppy Morrison. We invite them forward to kindle the festival and the Shabbat candles.
Wait, please. Not yet. Source of blessing, eternal our God, you fill the universe with majestic might, teaching us holiness through sacred obligations, giving us the mitzvah of bringing light on Shabbat and this festival. Okay, now.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav,
we gather this new year on screens in our homes, socially distanced, more than 6 feet apart. There was no rush this evening, no pushing out of the house, no chaos. Yet we miss that. The car ride, the traffic, the parking, and the friends, our neighbors, and strangers. The ones we haven't seen since last year, and the ones we hope to meet this year. But this is the new year. The new moon beckons us. The shofar will soon sound, and we will be called. Our season of song and silence, prayer, reflection, an open heart. Distanced, not distant, we gather this new year. Hineni.
We continue on page 15. At the new moon, at the full moon for our feast day, sound the shofar, for that is the law of Israel, the way of the God of Jacob. Praise God with the blast of the shofar. Baruch atah Adonai, shomea kol truat amo Yisrael barachamim. Blessed are you in our lives, Adonai. You hear with love the shofar, true voice of your people Israel. Tekiah. We continue with Hineni on page 17. Please rise if you are able.
Hineni he ani mima'as nirash v'nivchad mipachad yoshev tehilot Yisrael Batil amor להתחנן לפניך על עמך ישראל אשר שלחוני אף על פי שאיני כדאית והגון לכך לכן אבקש ממך אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל אלוהי לאה אדוני אל רחום וחנון אלוהי ישראל שדי דילוגנו עליך אהבה רשעים תעשה באהבה כל צרות ורעות הפוכנה לנו ולכל ישראל לששון ולשמחה לחיים ולשלום האמת והשלום אהבו ולא יהי שום מכשול בתפילתי כי אתה שומע תפילת עמך ישראל ברחמים ברוך אתה שומע
Please join with me. Our God and God of our ancestors, may we know your blessings in the year 5781. Eternal One, bless us and the whole house of Israel with renewed life, happiness, and peace, comfort and courage, resilience and strength. May the words of our heart be acceptable to you in the new year that stretches before us. We are forever grateful for the gift of life. Baruch, page 20.
את אדוני המבורך ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
We continue on page 23. Page 23. Bless Adonai who spins day into dusk. With wisdom watch the dawn's gate open. With understanding let time and seasons come and go. With awe perceive the stars in lawful orbit. Morning dawns, evening darkens. Darkness leading one to the other, yet each distinguished and unique. Marvel at life. Strive to know its ways. Seek wisdom and truth, the gateways to life's mysteries. Wondrous indeed is the evening twilight.
Baruch atah Adonai Hamari ve'aravim.
We continue on page 24 with Ahavat Olam.
יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. אוהב עמו ישראל.
We continue with words of Shema, page 26.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Hashem, Kirot Malchuto, Le'olam Evad.
Please be seated. Continue with Ve'ahavta on page 28. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Page 30. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם emet. Continue on page 33. To break the bonds of anger, to be generous of heart, to break the bonds of shame, to live with self-respect, to break the bonds of envy, to serve one another in joy, to break the bonds of boredom, to be attentive to all God's gifts, to break the bonds of fear, to live with courage and strength, to unite, to untie the knots of betrayal, to love with fullness of being, to break the bonds of loneliness, to receive a hand of hope, to break the bonds of self-centeredness, to extend a hand of help. Released from the darkness, our people found their freedom at the sea, and we pray for liberation at the dawning of this year. We sing our song of freedom, Micha Mocha, page 34.
Micha Mocha Bailim Adonai, Micha Mocha Nedar Bakodesh, Nora Tehilot Osei Fele, Malechutecha Reuvanecha, V'kei Hayom Livnei Moshe, Zeri Yaakov ugalo miad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael.
Our sacred nighttime prayer for shelter and peace, the words of Hashkivenu, are on page 36.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim Ushmor Tzeiteinu Uvoleinu L'chaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomerei Eloheinu l'chaim v'hamidenu malkeinu Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomerei
Not only do we get to celebrate Rosh Hashanah as a community, our sacred new year, we get to celebrate Shabbat, our gift that comes every week on Friday nights and Saturday. We sing this sacred song for Shabbat. The words of Vishamru are on page 38.
Shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורות הברית עולם Shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורות הברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ
The Amidah, the Tefillah, is on page 42. As a community, we'll sing the opening meditation. I invite you to sing out loud at home, and then the first two blessings, and then we'll have some time for silence meditation. If you want to explore the prayer book, the words of the Amidah go through page 71 with a couple specifically for Shabbat. We'll also put some slides up on the screens for you to meditate and think about during our silence. If you're able, we invite you to rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Moshia Umagein, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah.
Page 70, the words of Yehiyu Leratzon.
The words of Rabbi Sonia K. Pilz. Amisha Berach, for those suffering in mind, body, and soul during the COVID-19 pandemic. This is Amisha Berach for those who climb daily into their cars, buses, subways, and trains, for those who lost their jobs, homes, and food, for those anxiously waiting for what the future will bring. This is Amisha Berach for those who lost loved ones, colleagues, and friends in loneliness, in helplessness, without us noticing. This is for the addicts, the ones in need of medication, the ones in need of group support and therapy, who struggle with the absence of healthy habits. This is for the children, the elderly, and the ones with intellectual disabilities who do not understand why their lives suddenly and so drastically changed. This is for the ones who needed to stay home, coughing and gasping for air, the ones so often lonely in their hospital beds. This is a Misha Berach. May the God who is a source of blessing remember the crying voice of God's children, suffering, anxious, and numb in their pain. God, hear our pain. God, heal our pain. El na rafana la. I'd like to especially hold in our hearts Shalom and Marilyn Bly, Mason Easley, Richard Gary, Arlene Gilliland, Linda Heath, Moritz and Dorothy Huppert, Beth Klein, Rosalind Levitt, and Marvin Schwartz. If there's someone that you are praying for tonight, someone in need of healing of body or spirit, please say their names aloud before we join together in our Song of Healing, page 73, Heal Us Now.
Oh, please
We continue in the middle of page 74. On this night of return, let us find the humility to come close to you and open ourselves to your presence. For you are absent only when we fail to make room for you in our hearts, distant only when we turn away from you. Now, as others have done before us, let us overcome doubt and speak these words of affirmation. We call you Avinu. As loving parent, forgive our wrongs and failings, accept us in our human frailty. We call you Malkeinu. As sovereign of our souls, help us rise from our brokenness to build a world of shalom. To this vision, we offer ourselves anew. Page 77, if you're able, please rise.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu Lifanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Hamol Aleinu, Ve'ol Aleinu.
Please be seated. Today is the birthday of the world. One of the traditional names for Rosh Hashanah is Hayom Harat Olam. Today is the birthday of the world. According to Jewish tradition, Rosh Hashanah marks both the day on which the world was created and the notion that each year creation is renewed in its entirety. Hayom Harat Olam. Today, the world is born anew. But this year, more than most, it feels difficult to muster up the strength and enthusiasm to really celebrate. To say that this past year has been hard is a gross understatement. It is a daunting task to try to find words to give voice to the pain, the loss, the struggle, the tragedy, and the trauma in our world over these past 6 months. In so many ways, there are no words. Some of us have lost loved ones. Some have battled with illness. Some have had to watch from a distance as our loved ones fought for their lives. Some have lost jobs or struggled to keep jobs or felt overwhelmed by the new burdens that came with working or learning from home. Many of us are horrified as well by the man-made increases in violence, insensitivity, malice, and misunderstanding. But today is the anniversary of creation, that first project of making order out of chaos. Tonight, as Jews, we are called to mark the arrival of a new year, to reflect on the year that's been and to move forward, one small, trepidatious step at a time. Hayom Harat Olam. Today, the world is born anew. Jews are no strangers to chaos and difficulty. We are one of the world's oldest others. As a people, our history is riddled with exiles, expulsions, and pogroms, anti-Judaism, anti-Semitism, violence, and oppression. Some of this darkness certainly still remains in our world. We are in the midst of a concerning rise in anti-Semitism. But throughout our history, rather than retreat inward or withdraw from the world around us, as a people and a religion, Jews and Judaism have chosen empathy over xenophobia, engagement with the world around us over isolation. We know from our history that we will get through this moment in time. Certainly not without difficulty, and potentially not without pain. But we will move through this dark time. It's been said that during the 1918 Spanish influenza, everyone knew someone who had lost someone or been affected by it. And as COVID-19 rages on, I know that this is also the case for many of us as we gather tonight. In his book, More Beautiful Than Before, Rabbi Steve Leder explores the ways in which suffering and pain can transform us. He writes, "Every one of us, sooner or later, walks through hell. The point is to not come out empty-handed. The point is to make your life worthy of your suffering. If you take pain's lessons to heart and use the tools bequeathed to you, the blessings of your freedom, your wealth, your time, your heart and soul, to fix something that is broken, then you will not have walked through hell and come out empty-handed. You will have traversed the valley of shadows to be bathed in the light of wisdom and live a more beautiful life. Use your pain to fix something and don't wait." In the midst of the incredible pain of this pandemic, how have our lives and our world changed? What have we learned? We have found new ways to work, new ways to connect, new hobbies to pursue, and a sense of how deeply interdependent and interconnected we are as human beings. We've also had to find new ways to seek balance, to celebrate important moments, and perhaps most difficult, not lose sight of the holiness in our lives. This is really Judaism's essence. Moderation, celebration, and sanctification comprise its core. Psychologist Wendy Mogul, in her book on parenting through a Jewish lens, The Blessing of a Skinned Knee, explains that the principle of moderation teaches us to do two seemingly incompatible things at once: to passionately embrace the material world that God has created while exercising self-discipline. Judaism clarifies our proper perspective on engagement with the world. We are not to emulate animals who act on instinct, or the angels who don't struggle with longing, or the ascetics who shun earthly pleasures. God created us with intense desire and free will on purpose, and it is up to us to use this endowment for good or ill. We've learned, or maybe are still trying to learn, how to balance caring for children or aging parents with the demands of our professional lives, often feeling like we're being pulled in too many directions at once. This is as true for me as I know it is for so many of you. It has been a struggle trying to juggle my responsibilities as a father, a rabbi, and a husband of a teacher, especially with all three worlds colliding in my home. But despite the new stresses and challenges that exist, I've come to appreciate the incredible gift of time I'm getting. Time to eat with my kids and Amy at lunch and dinner, getting to hear about their day. Time to read stories, tuck them into bed, and give them a kiss goodnight. Almost every night. These are small, simple gifts that aren't normally a given in a rabbi's life, but I'll certainly carry these moments with me. Our tradition teaches us the importance of trying to find balance in our lives, even if the scale is tipped too far sometimes towards work or too far towards disengagement. The goal is to strive to be better, not perfect. Moderation, Mogul continues, leads to the second principle, celebration. We are obliged to embrace God's gifts moderately but enthusiastically. In other words, we are obliged to give thanks and to party. Celebration can take hundreds of forms, from the year-round Jewish cycle of celebrating major and minor holidays to saying blessings over food, rainbows, new clothes, a narrow escape, or doing something for the very first time. We found many new ways of celebrating. Zoom Seders, Zoom birthday parties, and Zoom B'nai Mitzvah. We've recorded and watched VidHugs. We've FaceTimed and mastered the art of wearing shorts with suits and ties. My uncle, who lives outside of Atlanta, was able to join our family Seder for the first time in years. He even got to meet my kids for the first time. We've also found new ways to come together in mourning, with virtual funerals and Shiva Minyanim. These experiences, while certainly missing that physical connection, have certainly been powerful. I've seen Zoom B'nai Mitzvah and Shiva Minyanim in which family and friends participated from across the globe. Those who perhaps wouldn't have been able to attend in person were able to be there virtually. Finally, Mogul says, is sanctification, the third principle, which is the process of acknowledging the holiness in everyday actions and events, especially in our homes. One traditional Jewish expression for the word home is the same as the word for a house of worship. Mikdash Me'at, or little holy place. Our dining table is an altar, and surrounded by family has the potential to be the holiest spot on the planet. So many of our Zoom B'nai Mitzvah have been centered in our families' homes, creating a truly sacred space. Consider this very moment we're all experiencing together. Who could have imagined the high holy days happening in our homes? Yet here we all are, creating sacred space and a sacred moment in our living rooms. We have discovered that we can make these otherwise ordinary, everyday spaces holy. So much holiness can be found in the opportunities this virtual world has created. After one dear friend who I hadn't talked to in many, many years popped up in a VidHug for my own milestone birthday this summer, we were able to reconnect, pull in another long-lost friend, and pick up our friendship again over Zoom, the years of time apart melting away. Back in March, in the first weeks of sheltering in place, here at Beth Am, we arranged to have volunteers call some of the older and more isolated members of the congregation to check in, make sure everyone had what they needed, and to help arrange for the delivery of any essentials. It was also an opportunity for our congregants to connect with each other in a new and sometimes profound way. One volunteer caller shared with me that during one of her first phone calls, she connected with the gentleman she was calling over their shared love of music. It turned out that her son played piano and offered to play for this congregant over the phone. After the piece, she commented that she felt sorry he was alone. And he replied, "Well, I'm not alone right now." They still talk every Sunday, and her son even wrote a special piece for his birthday. In turn, this older congregant also sends videos of different composers that he likes for them to discuss. There is certainly holiness in the way in which these congregants, who perhaps may have never connected before came together in a way that would have seemed unlikely just a few months earlier. There are so many stories like this one that have emerged from the midst of this pandemic. Stories of human connection, of our ability to open our eyes and see the humanity of those who may not look or think like us. The pain of this pandemic has opened our eyes, helped us to see the pain that has always been present and the suffering that too many in our community, our country, and our world have endured for far too long. Every one of us, sooner or later, walks through hell. The point is to not come out empty-handed. On this day on which the world is said to be born anew, as we stand on the threshold of a new year, what will we take with us from the hell of this past year? Will we come out empty-handed and try to go back to life as it was? Or will we carry the lessons we've learned with us and build back better? I've got another Zoom call with my friends Mikey and Jessica on Monday night, and I have a hunch my uncle will be able to participate in future Seders virtually from here on out, as we continue to use these new tools of technology, even once we are able to physically gather again. I suspect that a laptop with Zoom will become a regular presence at Shabbat services, celebrations, and family gatherings. But in this new year, we also need to continue to use our tools of empathy, compassion, and care for those who may not look or live like us, to bring healing and wholeness to the brokenness in our world. Hayom Harat Olam. Today, the world is born anew. This is our calling and our challenge. Rosh Hashanah calls us, despite the difficulties in our own lives and the brokenness in the world, to reflect on the year that's been, and challenges us to find and embrace the possibilities of newness. How will we renew our relationships with family and friends? How will we renew our commitment to taking care of our bodies? How will we renew our faith in ourselves and our world? Hayom Harat Olam. Today, the world is born anew. Today, we recommit ourselves to furthering the work of creation, of bringing order and empathy into this world full of chaos and pain. L'shana tova, l'shana metuka, u'l'shana bria. Wishing you a good, sweet, and healthy new year.
We continue on page 78. Lift the cup for the year that is gone, for mountaintop moments and the taste of joy, celebrations shared, milestones met, all we've mastered and achieved since last we met. For wedding rings, tears and kisses under the chuppah, new babies, first words and first steps. For the children who bless our homes and bring life to our community. For B'nai Mitzvah and confirmands, young teachers of this holy congregation, ours to cherish and guide with love. For beloved wives and husbands, sisters and brothers, for loyal friends who grow more precious with each passing year, for this community which nourishes us all, for all we've learned, for all we've struggled through, for challenges surmounted and disappointments met with courage, for last moments shared with those we loved and lost, for parents and grandparents whose memories are with us forever. We lift the cup for the year that is gone, for the year that begins. May we meet it in strength, in unity, in hope. We lift life's cup and celebrate survival. So may we sanctify each day that is ours.
אשר בחר בנו מכל העם ורוממנו מכל לשון וקידשנו במצוותיו ותיתן לנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה את יום השבת הזה ואת יום הזיכרון הזה יום תרועה מקרא קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ודברך אמת וקיים לעד ברוך אתה אדוני מלך על כל הארץ מקדש השבת בישראל ביום הזיכרון
We continue with Aleinu on page 82. If you're able, please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת קדושה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגר עלינו ככל המונה, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 84. Page 88. Effortless affection. All last requests are granted, and this is mine. Grasp my affection in your hand and hold it there. Gather my affection into your heart and store it there. Draw my affection in simple lines in your mind and foster it, further it, funnel it into all the coastal plains and lowlands where daily life and memory flow together. Let the river of affection rise and overflow. Let the grasses in the meadow near the river bend in the current where my love has flooded your land. This week, the Betham community mourns the loss of Jeffrey Kellman, husband of Adele, father of Rachel, Lisa, and Mark. Raymond Malenko, husband of Shirley, father of Dawn, father-in-law of Sigal, grandfather of Daniel and Evan. Audrey Marlene Snyderman, mother of Toby Ellman, mother-in-law of Adam, grandmother of Robbie. Carl Levine, husband of Wendy, father of Paul and Jill, father-in-law of Susie and Brian, and grandfather of Alex, Andrew, Lauren, and Noah. And Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, groundbreaking jurist and a hero to so many of us who died today. We're observing Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning for Julie Glassman, Les Scher, Sydney Snyderman, and Julian Harris Cohen. And we remember those whose yahrzeit, whose anniversary of death fall this week. Chris B. Acker Sr., Gertrude Anker, Ethel Bengar, Sophia Bierman, Julius Blank, Lillian Braunstein, Melvin Brooks, Lois Cohen, Rose Ehrlich, Marilyn Fisher, Sarah Friedman, Spritza Gelfand, Gennady Glukovsky, Ruth Goldbaum, Lev Golden, Bertha Grabuska, Al Gross, Mary Goralnik, Thelma Kapner, Carol Katz, Harris Kessler, Anne Klein, Esther Klein, Ethel Kopelman, Golda Kress, Barbara Leff, Simona Levy, Michael Levin, Goda Levina, Leonid Levinson, Ruth T. Mainzer, Esther Malinger, Mira Mabel, Madeline Miller, Russell Miller, Benjamin Mullins, Florence Nessenblatt, Cynthia Newman, Ben Ortenberg, Bernice Steinberg Radin, Berta Reichstadt, Joseph Rauschwerger, Miriam Roth, Ron Roth, Doris Ruderman, Rose Cerebreni, Robert Szymanski, Abraham Siegel, Anna Steinberg, Julian D. Stone, Evelyn Tall, Eva Tanz, Louis Tobin, Robert Tolchin, Rachel Tutunik Berman, Zina Vladimirsky, Maury Wasserman, Bessie Weinberg, Eunice Woolman, Yosef Zaidi, and Psachi Zisman. If you're remembering someone tonight, please say those names aloud. We hold them all in our hearts as we prepare to say the words of the Kaddish. If you're not already risen, you may rise now. On page 90, we turn to the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv imru. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar, v'yit'aleh, v'yithalal, shemei d'kudsha, b'richu. Le'ela ul'ela, mikol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechamata, da'amiram be'elma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru. Amen.
I invite you to be seated. A reminder that throughout the High Holy Days, we encourage you to engage in tzedakah, righteous giving. Right now, I want to tell you about 3 important causes that are up on the slide right now. You can visit betham.org/justice to support any of these efforts. First, the initiative to support those affected by the wildfires raging in our area. Our tzedakah collection for these High Holy Days will go towards the Jewish Family and Children's Service Wildfire and Emergency Fund. Any gift will go directly to help those affected by the wildfires. In the area of hunger, we recognize that one of the impacts of the COVID epidemic is an emerging hunger crisis in our community and around the world. Our local food bank reports that the number of people requiring food assistance has doubled since before the pandemic. Beth Am is supporting both our local food bank, Second Harvest, and the terrific Israeli anti-hunger organization, Leket Israel, these High Holy Days. We urge you to make contributions to the Beth Am Hunger and Homelessness Fund as well. And finally, we're working diligently on voter engagement and advocacy. Beth Am's participating in a variety of nonpartisan civic engagement events and actions leading up to the election on November 3rd, ranging from postcards and texting to voters who might have their registration compromised, to workshops and forums on issues central to our democracy. Again, you can learn more and get involved at betham.org/justice. Make sure that you are registered and that you have a plan for how you will vote.
We turn now to page 99. Yehi ratzon milfanecha, Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, shetechadesh aleinu shana tova umetuka. Let's join together. Our God and God of our ancestors, eternal God of all generations, may your presence in our lives this new year renew our spirits and renew our strength. May it be a good year. May it be a sweet year.
And we thank you so much for joining with us tonight. And we're looking forward to being with you again tomorrow morning. At 9 o'clock, we are inaugurating a family service for families with children ages basically from 2nd grade through 6th or 7th grade. And that starts at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we hope that you'll join us for that if you have kids that age. And then, of course, at 10:30, we'll all come together for our morning service for Rosh Hashanah. May it be a sweet year, a year of learning, and a year of justice. Thank you so much.
Join me in Motzi, our round challah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shana Tova, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Shana Tova. We conclude with a new year.
May this be a year of love and kindness. May strangers come to be friends. May truth and compassion always guide us. Amen. May this be a year of hope and healing for all of those in need. May all of our deeds be above. There comes a new year.
Shabbat Shalom and Shana Tova.
Latte.